Welcome to Badger Tough Inside the Circle. I'm assistant coach Craig Pokorny here with Hall of Fame head coach Alan Pokorny. We're here every week to talk Bennington Wrestling. This week we have our Christmas special. Yay, lights and snowmen and hats.
Just for information, Craig's making me wear this hat. So.
Yep, had to squeeze it on his big head. We'll just do a quick rundown. First, don't forget you can send us questions via Twitter or even emails, and we can answer your questions on the show. We don't get too many these days, but if you have questions, just let us know. We're going to do a little recap of the week, including the Beatrice duel, and we'll hit the upcoming week, do a little state duels wild card update, or not, and we'll just have some other general topics to talk about from there. So without further ado, this episode is brought to you by Midwest Designs. That's midwestdesigns.org. Go check it out for things like those clear bags for state wrestling. Don't want to try to walk in with the wrong thing at the CHI Health Center arena, not a hospital, and not be able to bring your stuff in. So midwestdesigns.org, check it out. So this week, we got a little bit more time in the practice room since we didn't have a tournament this weekend. And got a few things installed. Clearly went over a bunch of stuff from the fracas. But what are your thoughts about how practices went this past week?
Well, I mean, they're getting better every week as far as the kids remembering how to do things. And when we call it out, as far as the technique, they're able to at least know what they're doing, and now it's refining and getting better and better every day and expanding upon that. We still have a few things we'd like to install yet coming up. I think we, in about a week or two, we should have everything we knew we install other than stuff that comes up throughout the season. But, it's getting better all the time. And it's just part of the process when you have a lot of new kids, and so pleased with that part. I think conditioning wise, watching the guys, I think they're there now. But we're on our break here, so the moratorium. So these 5 days being off, might take a step back on the conditioning side, but everybody's in the same boat. So there's positives and negatives to all that. And we'll talk a little bit more, I guess, later on, for about the moratorium. But anyhow, that's kind of what the week is like in practice, I guess.
And then Thursday, we went out to Beatrice for a duel there. They actually had it on the stage there, had lights, had music, a nice show they put on there. What are your thoughts about how the duel went overall?
Well, first of all, as far as the setup and all that, I thought that was really cool for the kids and a neat atmosphere. And kind of fun and different than what you're used to having. But once the whistle blew and wrestling became wrestling, it was no different than anything else. At least I know from my point of view, we were focused on what was going on. And so, it's fun to have those things once in a while to mix things up and make things exciting. I think it's, just as exciting for the fans too in a lot of cases. And I know there's a few moms a little nervous about the stage, that the kids might come flying off the stage. But, you think about where on a mat, how many times they actually go off the mat itself. It's pretty rare.
Right.
And, they had the mat plus they had a couple more feet, 2, 3, 4 more feet in some cases to go before they got to the edge of the stage. So, and no one ever even came close on that. And, and they do have stages set up for all types of events, Fargo, NCAAs, and other special events. And do kids go off the mat once in a while? I've seen it happen. World Team Trials.
Kyle Snyder went flying off the stage. Actually, Devin Delancey almost caught him, I think.
Yeah. So, certainly there's a possibility there. Usually in a high school match, you don't see that. Freestyle is a little different. There's a lot more action and things get going fast. It's hard to stop that. And especially with the rules now this year, we're on out of bounds, where you got to stay in bounds, focusing more on circling in and staying in rather than wrestling on the edge, which you saw some in the past, and then that's where you might see some chances there. But everybody's trying to circle in now and stay in bounds, so you're less likely for anything like that to happen.
And Leonard Hawkins was really all over that at the duel, making sure guys were working to stay in and hitting those stalling calls when they weren't. So
yeah, if there's any kind of concern about that, it would probably been more on the opposite side, where there was a wall and we had only about 4 feet to go. And but that's the same in our gym too, when we have our invitational, where we have a wall there that the circle goes out to, and we actually have 6 feet there. But I wasn't too worried about the safety of the kids. That's it's as safe as anything could be in those situations. So, but as far as the duel goes itself, Beatrice is a solid team, and I enjoy wrestling them because they are a solid team year after year, and a Class B team that we rarely see. Although since we started dueling them a couple of years ago, it seems like we see them more and more. But anyhow, so they are ranked number 10 by anywrestle.com. A good team. We did finish ahead of them at the Fracas and actually beat 2 teams that beat them there. But duels come down to matchups. How you match up against some of their best guys and everything like that. And on paper, I went through it on paper to see how we matched up and what changes we could possibly do and what they might do. And I had it come down to about a 1 or 2 point duel potential, and so it really is going to come down to bonus points. And then also that was looking at it if we won the coin toss too.
Right.
Coin toss, when I talk about that, is before the duel. If you notice, the captains go out, they flip a coin and do all their shaking hands and introductions and everything in the middle of the mat. What that is doing is there's 2 things that coin toss does. Number one, it indicates who sends their first guy out, and then you alternate back and forth who sends a guy out first. And once you send him out, you have to keep him out there. If it's and so that the other team can now decide if they're going to send their normal guy out or not, or if they want to move somebody around. So that's one of the things. The other thing is it's choice of position, who gets their choice first during the match. So a couple things there. But what that did in that case was, and we knew going in, we wanted to be even on the choice. They won the coin flip and they chose even. So I knew right then and there for sure they knew what they were doing, and that was, I would have done the same thing as I was in their shoes. 220, they ended up bumping their guy up against one of our freshmen. And I think if they keeps him down, if they stay at 220, if we win the coin toss, it would have been a situation where we would have waited and saw whether they'd move their guy up or keep him. And if they kept him, we would leave Garrett in. If they moved him up, we would put a guy in at 220, get the points there, and then wrestle that match at 285. But as it turned out, they won it, and so they had huge advantage, and that turned out to be a 12-point swing in their favor, which, when the duel ended up 43-29, 12 points, that puts us within 2.
Right.
But that's kind of the way it goes. And then, Ryan Green being injured, nothing real serious, but, we're concerned about making sure he gets healthy and ready for the long stretch of the season, that we decided it's best to keep him out of this duel, rather than risking anything. If he's in, he pinned that guy last year at districts, and Keaton did a nice job of wrestling and actually had the lead for a while, and then got in a situation that, to no fault of Keaton's. I mean, he's a new wrestler. He's not even wrestled for an entire year yet. first time wrestling was last year in middle school in 8th grade, and they don't start till after Christmas break. So he has less than a year of experience, even wrestling at all. And I have high expectations for him being a great wrestler someday for us. But he got in a situation where he didn't, he's not used to, and so he didn't react right away like an experienced wrestler would, and got caught on his back. And when that happens, the bad part is you're on your back and you get pinned and it's all over. But I thought he wrestled well. He was winning. I thought he wrestled a lot better than he did at the Fracas, because we put him a couple times there. Mostly because I could see he was less nervous and less afraid than at the Fracas. So that was, a step up for him. That experience has helped him a little bit. But it's just still going to take time to understand all the different positions you get into. But anyhow, those things cost us a duel. And, there's always opportunities other places. But other than that, I thought we wrestled as well as we could against them. The close matches that I expected going in were close. And the ones that we knew they were real tough against some of our lesser experienced guys went that way. And so everything went kind of as expected. I thought the kids wrestled hard and tried, and we're where we are at. We have some solid kids on our team, but at the same time we got some young guys still growing up, and give them everything they got. And these guys are number 10 in the state ranked. So, that's no shame. We pushed them hard. In fact, start thinking about it that, we've talked about this before, being one of our least experienced teams in possibly 40 years or so. But we're still competitive with these top 10 teams.
Right.
And we did beat one top 10 team already, I guess, from Kansas, but we're competitive with the guys. So as soon as these guys figure things out, and sooner the better, but sooner they figure it out, they're going to be really, really tough. So.
As they get more and more experience counts for a lot, especially in those situations where they're getting caught on their back out in close matches. That's going to be a pretty big deal down the road.
Right, and the only thing we can do is put them out there and wrestle hard, and have things happen. And so we'll give them as many matches as they can. The guys that are on JV, to help them get better, we're going to give them as many matches as they can. They're going to have this second half of the season, they're going to get a lot of mat time in. That's all we can do at this point, is continue to work and practice and give them matches and real competition to help them develop. And it just takes time. At the end of the season, we'll talk about what they can do after that to accelerate, their development over the next 4 years, and kind of go from there.
Yep. So this coming week, we have a pretty short week with the moratorium. Kids can't really practice through Wednesday. So Thursday we got a morning workout at 10 o'clock, and then Friday, after our normal time of workout, we got to set up for the Badger Duel. So short practice week, and then fun setting up the tournament.
Yeah, this is the shortest I have ever remember us having 2 practices, and then we're into competition. Next year it's going to be probably about a week or so. Mm-hmm. So it's just how the calendar falls this year, and next year it shifts somewhat. So it's just kind of one of those years that it's going to be real tight. So, guys are going to have to be smart about what they're doing over the holidays. I know it's tough with wrestling and all the food and the goodies you have. And, one thing I tell the guys is say, to take what you're going to eat, put it in a freezer bag, put it in your freezer, and we'll have Christmas in February, late February. So, that way they don't miss out on it, but, they're also smart about making their weight. And also they're going to have to get some workouts in on their own. We can't have any contact at all the next 5 days. And, there's a good and bad with all that. The good is the bumps and bruises from wrestling and strains and all that the guys have. gives their body a little bit of a break from that. Just running on a treadmill or stationary bike or something. That'll help keep them in a little bit of shape, help burn some of the calories.
The weather's super nice if they can go
Well,
out
it is for now, but it's
today.
not. Wednesday, it's not going to be too nice.
And start off early. Otherwise, Wednesday they can go to a little gym in town and
Yep, certainly.
see the lady there.
But the positive is that they get some of those strains and bumps and bruises kind of healed up and refreshed a little bit. Where they're running and treadmilling and biking is all gonna help keep them on track as far as not losing too much conditioning, and it's not gonna affect their injuries, or at least you need to be smart about that.
Mm-hmm. So then Saturday we have the Badger Duels. Starts at 9:00, an hour earlier than the Bennington invite did at the beginning of the month. So don't be late. 10 teams there this year. Ashland Greenwood, ourselves, Bellevue East, Crete, Fairbury, Elkhorn South, Scott, Ralston, Wahoo, and Wayne. And I guess a little preview about how that's going to work. We have 2 5-team pools that will wrestle each other out. So we'll have four duels within our pools, and then we'll just match up. Whoever gets first in each pool will meet up for the championship. Seconds meet up. Thirds meet up. And during those pool plays, we'll have JV matches. So the JV guys will also get a number of matches this weekend potentially.
Yes, yeah, that's there can be 5 mats set up, but with how the pools are running, there's always one mat open,
Mm-hmm.
and one team's on a bye. Just how it works. So that 5th mat throughout the day will be available for teams to match up JVs and get them over there and get some mat time and experience that we talked about, and then the final duel, the placement duels, will all be on 5 different mats. There will be nobody on a break. It's looking forward to it. Good duel tournament, good solid teams there. Good mix of teams. And I haven't had a chance to see the brackets or set them up yet because looking on the NSAA site, their wild card point page is all messed up. So
yeah, I was gonna touch on that, but I guess I'll jump into that real quick. Yeah, there's no update this week on the wild card points because they have the results on the page that shows the results of duels, but they don't have them entered or showing on the wild card update page. So we'll have to reach out to the NSAA and see if they can't get that jump started.
I think there's something wrong with their software or something because after the fracas, I did get an email to update our results, and I responded back that they were updated. Mm-hmm. They were updated on Sunday, and then a day or so later, everything was updated correctly on the wild card points, and everything looked good. Now it's back to what it was like before the fracas.
Right.
So the results were there, then now they're gone, and they're on their the schedule page, but it's not on the wild card page, and so I don't know what's going on. I hope they get that fixed soon because that's going to determine how we set ourselves up in pools, and so we're just gonna have to wait and see, and hopefully that gets fixed. Otherwise, we're gonna have to do something else. And I actually did write them down before Thursday because the points, so I kind of have an idea where everybody's gonna land. If that's the case, if they don't get up fixed, I'll probably go by that because I believe it was going to be pretty accurate and not going to change much because I was curious to see where we're going to sit, and so we'll just have to wait and see on that.
Yep. Any preview going in? Any exciting matchups you're looking forward to?
Haven't really got to scouting too much. Just some stuff that I know of. I'm really interested to see. Buzz Luter's going to have a couple of rated kids in his bracket. I'm hoping to run into those guys. I know he wrestled the Brodowski or whatever his name is from Wahoo at Boys Town, but that was a match where Buzz was in a nice shot, looked like he was going to finish it, and then just, I don't know, he either slipped or got out of position and went into it, not even for him. He got in a situation I didn't really see him before and ended up on his back, and again, he couldn't get off his back and got pinned there. I would have liked to seen how that match went, if it went 6 minutes or however long. I think, because I think Buzz is one of those guys that's on the verge of being rated. He's beaten a rated Class A kid 3 times already. He does have a common opponent win over another a state medalist in Class B that's rated, that one from Fairbury, and so I think that I think the Raiders are kind of looking at well, we got to see more,
Right.
And I think this would be enough that if he can knock off 1 or 2 of those guys, first of all, he's got to pass them up somehow.
Yep.
And one of the ways is to beat him out, to beat him head to head. And like I said, he does have a loss to one of those, but I think that might have been more of a. I don't think that's going to happen again, I guess. I don't think he's at least going to get pinned like that. It's going to be a good match. If he gets beat. But I like our chances in it, in the rematch, and especially the way he's wrestling. So at least that's point of view individually, that's one I'm looking forward to. Obviously Garrett continuing on with what he's doing. Robert Greenwood's going to have Orsi possibly again. I'm thinking there's based off the preliminary matchups I thought we might have. I think Scott might be in the other pool, but I think we might see him in the cross pool.
Okay.
Good chance, and as a team, I'd like to see how we do against Scott. I think, again, I talked about earlier, duels are all about matchups and how you win, how you can maneuver guys around, things like that. I like how we match up against them. It's going to take some great wrestling on our point to upset them, but I think at least we got a chance in there, and if we can pull an upset here or there, and we can beat them, and so who knows? It's just a great opportunity again to wrestle against quality competition and see where we're at. And it just giving the other guys some matches, and probably at 285 with Aiden still being out, and we got Chevy and Jake Stiers at 220. He'd rather not wrestle 285, but we're going to look at seeing if there's any way we can both get them some varsity matches. Obviously somebody's gonna, because we have 285 open, but there might be some cases where it'll help us to put Garrett up at 285, and maybe we'll give Jake a shot at 220. And again, it's about getting that experience, for young kids, because both those guys are very young, and I have high hopes for down the road. It's just the nervousness they got to get through, and start gaining a little bit of confidence, and so I like to see if I can get them some mat time to help them out, and just see how we can do overall. There's going to be some teams that we should have no trouble with there, and then there's some teams that are going to test us. So it's a nice little tournament for us, and mostly Class B. There's 2 Class A schools in there, but mostly Class B. So it's competition we're going to need to see anyhow down the road somewhere.
The nice thing about the home duel tournament is we'll be on the same mat the whole day. So
Nope.
We're going to change it up this year?
No, we changed it last year too because of the pools, how the pools are set up. We can't be on the same mat. It's just too difficult. But we'll be in the same gym.
There you go.
We do have the advantage of not having to go into the other gym. So that's one advantage of being home. So parents don't have to move. They can stay in their one spot. And we're probably going to be on mat 1 and 2 to start the day, most of the day. And then the last duel, it's just depends on where we finish.
Yep.
So if you're looking for a place to sit, try find a mat 1 and 2 and sit right in the middle, and you're in good shape. And one thing, there's a real quick shot out there. We're going to need some more help with that. With 5 mats, we need more table workers. This is always a tough time of year to get table workers. Some of the kids that helped us out the Bennington Invite, well, first of all, there's 3 mats. We have 2 extra mats, so that's 4 extra people we got to get. We need more help with that, and I just sent out an email, and so if anybody's willing to spend a little time to help out and run a clock or maybe assisting somebody running a clock. If you don't want to run a clock, maybe you could just be at the table and help out. Sometimes it's good to help out when if there's a lot of points flying around, it's good to have that second guy or girl there to say, yeah, there was a near fall there, and help keep things in line. Plus, they also get the next group of guys ready to wrestle. We could use more help there, and also hospitality room. Bennington Invitational, parents supplied all the food. This one, Bennington Athletic Department's providing the food, but the parents provide desserts. So all your Christmas goodies, if you don't want to gain a couple extra pounds, save them up and bring them, I guess, for desserts.
There you go.
We should be getting an email and Sign Up Genius for that out shortly. It's just coming real fast with the holiday. It's less than a week away to Badger Duels, and it's hard to believe that, and we haven't even hit Christmas yet.
Yep.
So anyhow, that's kind of be ready for all that too.
Yeah. So again, 9:00 start time. Be there early. Be loud. Make sure when it's close to a takedown, you're yelling out "Too" as loud as you can. Go find my truck. I have license plates that help you figure out what to say there. And if you absolutely can't make it out, or you've got friends and family that want to watch from home, they can go to Bennington.tv. It'll be live streamed. All the matches will be live on there. So lots of ways to watch and check it out this weekend. Like I said before, no state duels, wild card updates.
You can't really get one with the.
It's the same as last week.
Well,
ish.
When it was right for a while there, I was surprised we were sitting pretty good, even with the fracas being over. We probably dropped a little bit after the Beatrice duel. When I say pretty good, I think we were around 11th or something like that. Mm-hmm. Even with our losses at fracas, and that's because they were quality teams, and that's what the wild card point thing is about, is encouraging you to compete against quality teams. That's where you get the points, and so even though we lost a couple, we lost 3 duels there, they're all against quality and up a class too, which gives us a couple extra points. We weren't that far, and then we won the duels that were close against. Again, they were good teams. They weren't slouches either.
Right.
And so our points are still respectable for what our record is, and especially where we're at experience wise. So, but it's going to change a lot even in the next couple of weeks. We're going to put on a lot of duels.
Yep.
Between the Badger duels and EMC duels, and then we got another duel and a triangular, all close to all that, so we're gonna have a ton of duels coming up here.
We're gonna be busy in the duel season. Once again, this episode is sponsored by Midwest Designs. Go to midwestdesigns.org, get a clear bag for the state tournament. I don't know if they're gonna require them for the state duels at the fairgrounds. I don't know if they require a clear bag policy, but it sounds like next year at the fracas, speaking of which, they'll be requiring the clear bag. So get them early, because if you wait till last second, might not get it in time. MidwestDesigns.org. So one of the things we like to touch on is just some general stuff. Every now and then, sometimes we spend a lot of time talking about results and upcoming duels and stuff, but good to talk about some general things going around in wrestling.
Especially on a short week like this week.
Yeah, short week. We won't have the hour and 15-minute episode this week. But interestingly enough, something that came out really hit the mainstream media yesterday is what they're deeming Hairgate. So out in New Jersey, there's a wrestler who had his hair cut in order to wrestle a match in a duel. I think it was just a duel. I don't know if it was a dual tournament, but there's a lot going around on social media, and we don't know all the facts. So we're not going to be commenting on that particular situation. But in light of that, with people, parents, fans having questions about how it operates, I want to throw it to you to address how we, inform the guys about the rule with the hair and how we do this as a team.
Well, first about the story itself.
Mm-hmm.
As a wrestler in a duel, and if, I don't know all the facts 100%, but what I understand was it was actually during the match had already started, and then the official, whatever reason, stopped it, and the kid had to cut his hair. If I'm putting the whole story together, I'm assuming that his hair fell out during the match because he did have hair covering. Apparently, it wasn't legal hair covering.
They have to be attached to the headgear, and his wasn't.
So the official gave the option: he'd either forfeit it or he had to cut his dreadlocks, and I'm glad that we didn't have to we don't have to deal with something like that. Hopefully, because first of all, we like you was talking about what we do, we inform the kids if someone ever has to have any haircut. Or hair's long. I mean, we remember a couple of years back, Buzz had some long hair.
Mm-hmm. I think he had cornrows in at one point a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Well, either way, whether when it's long, a certain length, they have a choice of either cutting their hair or covering it. And the covering has to be attached to the headgear. So we make sure that he has the proper gear at the time. If we had the special order, and I think maybe special order something for him, so he had it. And the other thing is we have him show it to the official every weigh-in, and officials do ask for that too around Nebraska. And I don't know if that happened in New Jersey, that if they showed it at the weigh-ins, because if they showed it at the weigh-ins and the official approved it there, then it shouldn't have mattered in the match, or they should have caught it at that time and give him an opportunity to do something rather than in the middle of the match make the decision, do I cut my hair or do I forfeit this match?
Yeah, there's a lot going around about the story that some things aren't some people are saying it was one thing and some say it was the other. He did it at weigh-ins, he said something at weigh-ins, or he didn't bring it at weigh-ins, or there's a lot going around to that story. But yeah, in Nebraska, really any special equipment you have, you're supposed to bring to weigh-ins and show the official and have it approved to make sure there's nothing that happens right at the mat, like this situation happened.
Yeah, so I don't see that being an issue to us, the way we handle things.
We talked to the guys about their hair and at the beginning of the season,
and about how long it has to be, and so guys usually take care of it at that time. But we do offer the opportunity if they want long hair, they have long hair, that they can get a proper covering, and we'll make sure it's legal and not have that issue come up.
Yep. So that's Hairgate for anybody who is wondering and seeing the news and everything flying around. We shouldn't have that problem here, but that's how we handle it, I guess. One other thing I wanted to bring up before we close it out, we have our Bennington Youth Tournament at the end of January, January 27th. So registration's open for that. That's the kindergarten through 8th grade, or pre-kindergarten through 8th grade tournament. And so you can go online. You can either go on to the BenningtonWrestling.com website and go under the youth drop down for the tournament, and there's a link to the registration there. Or you can go to arena.flowwrestling.org and search through the long list. There's a lot of tournaments on there now, so it might be quicker just to go to our site first and just find the direct link. But yeah, registration's open online. You got to sign up online if you have an athlete in that age group that's going to sign up. You can pay online. You can pay at the door. There's options there, but definitely got to sign up online. We limit it to the first 500 kids, and we've maxed out a few times in the past. So don't wait till the last second and hopefully, or unfortunately, get left out. So, yeah, anything.
Yeah, and for you listeners who are not part of the wrestling program, we do have a reputation of running one of the best tournaments around as far as youth tournaments goes, being on time, efficient, and a quality tournament. So, a great opportunity there. We also give away a free home wrestling mat, 10 by 10, and it's an actual wrestling mat to one person who has wrestled in the tournament. So you can't just sign up and think that you get a chance to, and not show up and think you get a chance to win it. No, you got to be there. We take the weigh-in cards, from the weigh-ins and put them all in a big box and shake them all up and draw one out. So, one lucky winner, go home with the wrestling mat. And as to show that it's not rigged, we've been doing this, I think, 5 years now or something like that. And Bennington wrestlers only won it once. So
we've sent it home to some of our rivals and good competition. And man, we should. Too bad that's going home to another kid from another team. I wish it went to our kid, but
then it's at least it shows we're not it's not rigged, I guess.
And we always have a little kid usually draw out the name. So,
yep. But and as far as parents and fans are listening for Bennington, that's our biggest fundraiser by far. We don't sell cookies anymore. We used to sell frozen pizzas at one time. Sold cards. We used to do all that stuff at one time. But when we started this tournament many years ago, we decided that, hey, we're just going to do a one-day tournament, and that's it. We won't sell anything else. Rather than having you have to go out and sell this stuff, this is how we raise our money. So I encourage you all to help out, and we'll certainly, as we get closer to that time, be putting out information to help, and the kids got to help out. All the high school kids are expected to help in some way with this, because over the summer, whatever money we have left in the club, since we're a nonprofit, we try spending close to all of it. We leave a little bit for startup the next year, but we put that towards the kids' camps, what's left over, and part of the NSA requirement to be able to do that is that they have to work to raise it. The money. So this is where when they do this, and if we're saving $200, $300, $400 in a camp, well, for the parents or whoever, that's because your son worked the camp and they worked the tournament, and they get to reap the benefits. So very important for us. So help us out.
Any other general things you want to talk about, Christmassy things or anything like that?
Well, we did forget. You kind of mentioned it. We did forget a little bit about the practice on Friday, this coming Friday.
Right.
We have a 3:30 practice, and that was intended that way so we can practice and then set up. The kids don't. If we went in the morning, they would go to practice, and then they would have afternoon off, then come back and set up. And there are basketball games going on. They have their holiday tournament. So we'll be able to practice about the time we get done, or maybe a little bit of time we got to wait, but shouldn't be too long. We'll be able to set up one of the gyms, because they'll be done about 6:30, the smaller gym. Then the main gym, they're expecting the basketball games to get done about 8:30. So, they'll stick around and hopefully the boys are in the finals, and I'm assuming that's the last. Then they can watch them and cheer them on, and then after that, we're going to set up and get done as quick as you can so they can get home and get a good night rest and come back and wrestle.
Yep.
So that's it for Friday.
Yep.
Other than that, nothing new this week.
Alrighty. Well, tune in next week. We'll be recapping the Badger duels and doing a little preview for the EMC duels. Duels. That's this time of year. We just lots of duels. So, like I said, join us next week. We'll be done with Christmas. We'll all be fat and happy. Well,
and I don't have to wear a silly hat.
You don't have to wear a silly hat. Not as many twinkly lights to distract you. But yeah, next week, same time, Sunday at 2:00. We'll see you then.